Hi everyone, and welcome to Healthy Under Pressure, where you can learn easy daily practices to skyrocket your energy and look and feel years younger. I am Marina Bruni, your host, and today we have Steve Prussack with us. Hi Steve, great to have you here. How are
Hi,
you?
Marina. Thank you for having me on this summit and to get the message out.
Oh no, thank you for being here. I'm so excited. And I want to tell everybody a little bit more about you. So, Steve Prussack is the author of Juice Guru, Transform Your Life with One Juice a Day, and The Complete Idiot's Guide to Juice Fasting. He is the founder of Juice Guru, a mission dedicated to spreading the message about juicing and healthy living. He is the host of iHeartRadio's Juice Guru Radio. In addition, Steve is the founder of the world's first accredited online juice therapy program, the Juice Guru Certification Program, accredited by the Complementary Medical Association. This is so very juicy, Steve, and I can't wait to talk to you. And first of all, I would love you to share your story and your whys, how you came to do what you're doing, please.
My story and my what?
Your story and your why, your reason why you are doing.
Oh, my why. Got you.
Why. Yes.
Thank you, Marina. Yes, I'd love to share that because every one of us has a story. And if I could share mine with you at home watching, and thank you for letting us into your living room. I take this seriously. It's a very intimate thing. So for me, 26, 28, 30 years ago when I got out of college, I was overweight. I was out of shape. I'd walk up a flight of steps and I'd be panting. I couldn't sit upright behind a desk. I had a day job on Wall Street in New York. And by the end of the day, I would be slumped over and I didn't even have a core muscle to hold my body up. And I had insomnia and depression without really even knowing it. And I, at that moment, realized why should I feel like an old man right out of college? What is going wrong? And I realized it was those late night fraternity parties and fast foods and the deep fried foods and the smoking and the drinking and all those things that I was doing that was making me age faster, that was taking my vitality and my energy away. So it was juicing. When I discovered juicing, there were some late night infomercials with the Juice Man here in the United States, and I saw that and I saw his book in the store and I read it. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to give this a try. I'm going to try to put some juice in my body because I wasn't eating any vegetables really, like most people. I thought vegetables were French fries or or like iceberg lettuce that my mom would give me with some beefsteak tomato and some French dressing, and that was like and some sliced cucumbers. That was the extent of it. Or maybe on a hamburger I'd have lettuce. I had no idea what health was or what it meant to get those things in my body. So as I started exploring it, because I wanted to feel better and have more energy, and I started the juicing, it started to turn my life around. It got to the point where I was like, all right, you know what? I'm going to just try a juice cleanse and see what that does. And at that point, it had been several years that I was juicing. I was eating better. I was doing more exercise, and I tried a juice cleanse. And then that's when I had the light bulb moment. That's when my life turned upside down. It was during that juice cleanse that the tips of my fingers opened up and this black soot came out of my body, which looked like nicotine. Now, I had given up cigarettes for maybe 5 years at that point. I'd done a lot of cardio. I would have thought it would have been out of my body, that I would have been cleansed on that level. But it was this juice cleanse that made my body heal. It smelled like nicotine, and it turned my life around. To this day, when I tell that story, people are like, well, do you have pictures? And in those days, we didn't have phones. We didn't carry around a phone with all that, so I didn't have a phone. I didn't have a picture of it, but it happened, and it turned my life around, and it devoted my life to spreading the message of, wait a minute, we could do a lot better with what we're doing with our health.
Yeah. Wow. That's really, strong message, very strong and inspiring. So everything started from there for you. And
right. It spiraled because then I started to make better food choices, and then I started to just turn my life around, and it just improved every way. Like I started to get lean. The brain fog cleared. I was able to think clearer. I was able to have healthier relationships. I was just a happier person overall. And it was the energy. I had the energy, so much energy that I don't know what to do with it. You know, I have so much energy, and it led me down a path that I'd never thought my life would take me, of really trying to help other people that are stuck, that are feeling I'm overweight and I can't lose this weight. I have no energy, and that's the way we're supposed to age. And I see it on the Facebook feeds. I see my own friends. My 30th high school reunion just passed, and they post things like Jeff. He posted on his wall something like, I've just turned 49 and I feel every year of it. And I sit here and I'm behind my computer and I'm thinking, it's Jeff, everyone, all you guys in the class of 1987, it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be that way at all. And in fact, I feel better now as I'm approaching 50 than I did when I was 20. And that's the truth. I mean, I feel boundless energy. I don't rely on Viagra to have, a healthy relationship like my friends do. And people are considering all of this normal, and it's just not. So what I'm trying to say, my message is there's a better way. And if you could include a juice in your diet, and I like to make it a green juice. I like to keep it less sugar, more greens. But that was an evolution too. When I first started juicing, it was like, it needs to be sweet. It needs to, and why? Because we're conditioned from an early age, from kindergarten, from when we're in elementary school. We're given grape juice. We're given apple juice. We're just conditioned to think juice has to be sweet. Juice has to taste like candy, and it doesn't. In fact, a juice can be savory. It can be spicy. It can be gourmet, and it can be phenomenal. It can taste incredible, and that was a real eye opener for me too. So for me, it's an evolution, with starting with the sweeter juices. And I'll tell you one thing, Marina, during that first juice cleanse, when the nicotine came out, it was just carrot apple juice with maybe some ginger. It was very basic.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay. That's interesting. And so one question that immediately pops into my mind. Okay, juice is good, but you know what? I eat a lot of vegetables. I eat fruit. Why should I go juice?
The problem is that most people don't, they're not consuming enough vegetables and fruit. In fact, here in America, I think it's 90% are not meeting the recommended daily value on their fruits and vegetables. They're just not getting enough into our body. When we juice and we're taking, a bowl of vegetables to an extent we would just never be able to eat. We'd be eating all day if we were trying to eat, a pound of carrots or, half a pound of kale or whatever was in my juice. And my juice was so green that I had today, but, and we had some chard in there and spinach. I would never be able to sit there and eat a bowl of that salad, never be able to get those nutrients in. But it's not just that. It's when we get out of the way and we juice and we separate the fiber out. Yes, we need fiber, and yes, we recommend a high fiber diet. But when we take it out for what we call a supplement, for a nutrient blast, like nothing else you're going to get, well, then you're really getting you're getting a shot of nutrients on a level your body never could. You'd have to sit there and chew your salad, 5,000 times to swallow, to break it down to the molecular level that it is when we juice. So it's this concentrated juice that our teeth can't break the produce down. We can't get it into our body. And as a result, when we do it the way I recommend in my book, Juice Guru, we recommend a juice a day on an empty stomach, first thing in the morning. You put that in your body and there's a reason for it, because every night we fast. Every night when we go to sleep, our body is doing what we would do on a cleanse, any cleanse. It starts to rejuvenate on a molecular level. It starts to replenish. Mm-hmm. We're starting to beautify. So what do we do when we wake up? We have it all wrong. We eat these heavy breakfasts of breads and cereals and pastries and pancakes and eggs and waffles and all these things that are just offsetting all the good our body just did through the night. So instead, what we started to do, and with my clients too, and our certified juice therapist, I had them working with their clients to do the daily juice idea of the juice a day, first thing in the morning on an empty stomach before a meal, and then waiting at least 20 minutes before you eat. to just really feel the benefits. And most people are satiated. I haven't eaten today, and I won't eat till lunch because I'm satiated. I had my green juice and I feel great, and I don't need any more food. So it allows us to eat less because as a society, as a culture, all of us eat way too much. So we're eating less. We're filling our body with nutrients. We're continuing what happened overnight. Overnight, that cleansing, we're continuing it by putting a juice in. So we're continuing that as we get to our first meal of the day. And as a result, what do we see from the daily juice? We're saying you don't have to jump and change your eating habits right away. You can still eat some of the things you like, but start this way, getting that juice in your body, seeing what that does for you. And what happens is you just start to crave healthier foods. You start to move your body more because we don't move enough, or many people are just behind a computer all day and we're not moving our bodies. We're not meant to live that way. So we're vibrant, we're alive, and we crave more of the good things. So it's like a spiral. It just starts to happen. And what I say is start with that daily juice. I wrote the book, The Complete Idiot's Guide to Juice Fasting. It's the book on juice fasting. You don't have to juice fast. I do it, 3 or 4 times a year, usually with the changing seasons. And with the new year, it's a great way to start. And, a 3 to 10 day juice fast is a great thing to do for your body. And then that is an awesome prescription. Like from that to your daily juice protocol, then you're dialed in. Then you're not just meeting, you're exceeding the nutritional requirements that your friends are getting. You're going to get more in your body, that first juice in the morning, than most of your friends and family get in a month, unfortunately. Because like you said, to get back to that question, Marina, we're just not eating enough fruits and vegetables. We're not able to break it down to a level where we can absorb every ounce of the chlorophyll, which is like hemoglobin, which feeds us. And when you're drinking it on that empty stomach, the other thing is it absorbs right into your bloodstream, goes right in to feed your organs. So you're not getting that either. The fiber's great, but it slows down the absorption so we don't get it into our body like we would when we're doing the juice.
Yes, wow, that's very informative. And what would be the type of juice that you would recommend we drink as a first thing in the morning?
Well, as the gift that I want to give to everyone, it's our template recipe. It's the only juice recipe you need. When I got the book deal for my second book, Juice Guru, I said, I've got the prescription, the daily juice. They just need this one recipe. And they ended up wanting more. It wouldn't have been a big book. We have over 100 recipes in the book, but I say you just need the one template recipe, because with this one recipe that I'm going to give you, you can make literally dozens of juices, if not over 100 juices with the one recipe by changing things up that we put in there. The juice that I'm recommending is anti-inflammatory, so it wards off diseases, strengthens the immune system. It's a green juice, so it keeps the sugar out, so we're not going to get the insulin spike that you might with other juice. There's a lot of fear of juicing out there, There's movies like that sugar movie. I love that documentary, and he really disses juicing in there. But what he doesn't understand, and what there has to be more awareness about, is that it depends what we're juicing. And even if you're including some apple in your juice, well, there's an enzyme in the juice. There's a phytonutrient in the apple that actually prevents the absorption, and you're not going to get the insulin spike. You're not going to get that blood spike. So we say if you need a little sweet, it's okay to include an apple. Even if we're doing a purely green juice, like the template recipe I'm going to give you, we still want to sip it. We still want to, I just finished mine, now I'm on water, but we want to sip it. We want it to take 20 to 30 minutes to get a 32 ounce juice like this down, because you'll get an insulin spike even with the green juice. So you just want, your blood sugar could go up just with green juice. So you just take it slow. Don't overtax your system. Everything in moderation. We don't want to overdo it.
Okay, that's very important, because I would have thought, okay, I'm going to drink it just like I drink a glass of water. But no, this is very important. Sip it and taste it like if we were drinking it like in a mindful way, right?
Well, the way it was recommended to me when I first got into it way back when I got out of college and I was overweight and I first tried it, with the juice man, and I love the juice. We lost him this past year. He was a good friend of mine. I did an online program with him. His life work exists. He died at 93, the juice man, and he is my mentor. I feel he really helped to pass the work that I'm doing to me. And
Sorry
But
about that.
what's that?
Sorry about your loss. Sorry about it.
Yeah, for all of us, it was such a big loss. But his work lives on, and we did the School of Juicing, and that lives on. I continue to offer his work to people. But the thing that he was teaching was his idea was to drink the juice with your meal because of the enzymes in your juice. It'll help break down. If you're eating cooked food, the enzymes will break it down. The thing is, what we find is if we drink it on the empty stomach, then you really feel the difference. If you just drink a juice like with a meal or something, you're not going to really even notice that you had it. It's just going to get kind of in the mix of everything else through your digestion. If you do it on an empty stomach, like I said, it's easily absorbed into your body within 15 minutes, unlike a meal that takes hours to digest. So that's another great reason. And it's something that made our mission unique in juicing, because you can really tell the difference when you're just juicing on an empty stomach. And that's why people will say, well, can't I just do a smoothie? Or, isn't it the same thing? We've got infomercials about smoothies and Dynablasts and not Dynablasts, but the Magic Bullet and things like that. And well, what's the difference? And there is a difference. And I don't know, have you guys seen those? Is that marketing over there in the UK too?
Not really. Smoothies, yes, but yeah.
Well, there's a lot of confusion here in the United States about that due to these late night infomercials about smoothies and saying that it's the same thing as a juice. So there's been some
Okay.
I've been doing a lot of house cleaning to really explain the difference, why a juice is superior actually to a smoothie. But we don't totally diss smoothies. We love our green smoothies. We love including smoothies in our diet. It's a great supplement or replacement to a meal, but it's not the same level of medicinal healing that you're going to get as when you're going to separate that pulp out and get that supplement of juice into your body. Pound for pound, they did studies pound for pound, comparing, even putting the same quantity of vegetables and fruit into a smoothie versus vegetables and fruit in a juicer. And they found the juicer had 2 times more nutrient value than the blended drink, the smoothie. There's several reasons for that. First of all, not all juicers are created equal. And when it comes to blending, it spins really fast. It's centrifugal action and it oxidizes. And if anyone doesn't know what that is, that's when you think about when you cut an apple and it starts to brown like pretty shortly. That's oxidation. That's nutrient breakdown. That when you eat something that's oxidized, it'll cause free radicals, which eventually can lead to disease and other things. But when we juice and use a good juicer, like we recommend, the Try Best is our favorite. We use the Elite or the Slow Star. It's a cold press juice. The Elite, I love the Green Star Elite, replicates the human mastication system. So it's the only juicer that does that. So as a result, with the other technologies they use with their juicers, the enzymes, the nutrients all stay intact for at least 3 days. Unlike a blender that spins really fast that you have to drink right away because it's broken down, it's oxidized. It's not as it's not unleashing the amount of nutrition from that produce than the juicer is. So the juicer gives us a more concentrated liquid. Plus, we can drink more juice. You can get pounds of vegetables and fruit through that juicer and have a nice 32-ounce juice, as opposed to one blender filled because of how bulky it all is and all the fiber, which is good. The fiber is good, but we're taxing our system. How much fiber can we take? Would we sit there in nature and be able to eat that much vegetables and fruit? It's a lot of fiber for your body to process. It's a lot to push through your intestines, as opposed to the juice that's all the work's been done. I look at it like this. A blender removes the mastication, the chewing, and it gives us sort of a baby food. It gives us, it's taking that step away. But the juicer takes away the mastication and the digestion. It frees your body unlike anything else. And it's the reason some of these, cancer clinics here in the United States and over in Europe are using juicing as part of their protocol since Dr. Max Gerson first brought it to the country back in 1935 and 1940 and started using juicing as part of his protocols. That, yes, this is what heals. They're not using green smoothies. That's not what heals. That's a great way to help, give your body some nutrients. And it's a great choice over fast food or some of that other stuff we're eating. And yes, we should include it. In fact, we have a DynaBlend Pro, which is a blender. It's like the newer ones like this, the Dynablend Pro. It spins really fast, but we use a suction. So we take all the air out of the canister so it's not oxidized. We take all the air out and then we blend it. And then that smoothie will last me up to 3 days. So it's the next best thing under a juice. So now that came out last year, products like this, it's like, yes, now I can definitely recommend a blender over, some of these other blenders that are just oxidizing. At least it's not getting oxidized, at least. But I still know juicing is the best thing to get the nutrients in our body like that. Does that explain it, Marina? Absolutely. And your explanation was totally, absolutely spot on, because I was just about wondering about the difference between a smoothie and a juice, because it could be a bit confusing in terms of what does what and which one is best and how does our body react to both of them and things like that. Well, the thing is, nobody wants to hear that because it's a lot easier to clean the blender. But you know what? It's not true anymore. Like with the equipment I was recommending, like the TriBest stuff, they have special brushers that go with them now that you can get. I just juiced this morning. It took me 5 to 10 minutes to clean the juicer. So there's really no barrier anymore. There used to be. And I always recommend the TriBest Green Star because that was the first juicer I had 26 years ago when I first got into this. First, I had a really, like a $90 juicer. It was it was a Juice Man juicer. They weren't great juicers. But when I upgraded to the best in the world, which was the Green Star, my grandmother helped me get that. It was like over $400, which to me at that time was like, wow, where am I going to get that money? But she helped me, and I loved that juicer, but it took me a long time to clean. It probably took me half hour to 40 minutes to clean it. Oh, wow. It's not like that anymore, though. So I love saying that barrier is now removed, and plus they have other machines coming out now that, that allow you to juice and there's no cleanup at all. So like it's slowly getting, it's getting easier to, the barriers have been removed. What I want to say to you is if you're like, well, it sounds like it worked for him and the thousands of other people that he's inspired through it. And if you just look at my reviews on Amazon, you'll see we have nothing but 5-star reviews for my book. It's changing lives. It works. Like it works. I can say it confidently. Our book is the most scientifically referenced book on juicing based on studies that where they did kale shots. They did, it was like 4 or 5 kale shots a day, this study, and they compared the results of that to people that weren't doing them, and they found that they had lowered their blood pressure to the extent as if they had exercised for at least 2 hours for 7 days, that week, 7 days a week, 2 hours. And it was so just from the kale juice, like we know the juicing is creating amazing health and energy and all the things people are looking for. They're wondering, why do I feel this way? Why do I feel like crap? And we accept it because we're conditioned to, because maybe it was your parents. Maybe they were like that. Maybe it was in school and we just accept we're going to go up that continuum. We're going to need a walker. We're going to end up in an old age home, but it doesn't have to be that way. And this really is the serum. This is when we put the truth goggles on for ourselves, because there's, you're not seeing these big companies advertising this because there's not a lot of money in broccoli and bananas, but this is really the true medicine. Like they said, Hippocrates said, let medicine be thy health. Let medicine be, oh God, I don't want to misquote Hippocrates. Let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy health. And it is the food. It's the food from the earth and the plants that feed our body. That's why they were given to us. And it really does make an incredible difference in everything, no matter what that goal is. If it's you want to get more lean, you want to just feel better, you want to have more energy to play with your kids, you want to age unlike any of your friends and really show them like this is the answer, then all I'm asking you to do, and it's not that hard, I'm just saying start your day with the juice habit. Get into this juice habit. Our book, we can talk about it. My book includes habit formation, think like brain tricks, brain hacks on how we can make these things habits and how these things can become an autopilot. Because as humans, we have a tendency to get into our routines. Yeah. We have a tendency to, like, you might be motivated right now and say, yes, and he's right, I'm going to do it. And then you're going to wake up tomorrow and do nothing. Mm-hmm. So what we like to try to teach is to put the needle ahead. Back in the day when we had record players, if anyone remembers, like they would skip, and as humans we'll tend to skip, and we want to move the needle ahead, and we want to do the daily juice habit. I'm not saying to jump into a juice cleanse, although if you could and want to, I would recommend trying it a day, 3 days, whatever you can do. And that's a whole other area. That's a whole other interview if we wanted to talk about that. But I'm saying the daily juice is going to show you amazing results. And say you're like, well, where do I start? Okay, break it down. Can you make it easy for me? Because, how I just don't see, I see the motivation you have and the passion, but I just don't see how I can do it. And I hear those voices going off in your head. And maybe those voices are saying, I'm afraid to fail. Or maybe they're saying, I don't want to set myself up for this and do something. Or maybe you're saying it's good genetics. And that's why he has a lot of energy and he's almost 50. But it's not that. So what I'm saying is start the day with a piece of fruit then, when you might trade it to your daily juice habit. Like just start with a piece of fruit, a banana in that spot, or an apple. And then we're going to transition the next day. We're going to just try just as easy as this. You don't even need a juicer. Just take some lemon and maybe a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, organic, and put it in water and just mix it up. And that's your juice. Just some lemon and apple cider vinegar, or even just some lemon. But it's medicinal. It's antibacterial, antimicrobial, and that's a great juice. That's a great way to start. That's a great thing to put into your body. I do that on the days when I didn't have time to juice. I'll just put some lemon and some apple cider vinegar in. And some people that I work with are doing both. They're doing apple cider vinegar and lemon, and then 20 minutes, and then they're making their juice because they're really hungry, so they need to do something before they start. So just do that, and then try it. And if you're someone who's doing the green smoothies already or smoothies, and you're like, well, I don't know. I know you're saying it's better, but I don't know. Then try it for yourself. Do a week of green smoothies first thing in the morning on an empty stomach, and a week of greens juices first thing in the morning on an empty stomach, and you're going to know the difference. I mean, I always had to try things for myself to find out, no matter what I read. And if you saw my library, I've read almost every book on the subject, and that's how I learned all this stuff that I know about this. So, but at the end of the day, at the end of it all, I had to try it for myself to see what worked, found what worked, and then shared it with our certification program and with the people that they're training, that they're teaching to do the daily juice habit and the juice cleansing. And we see results happening everywhere, incredible positive results. No, you can't overdose on it. You can't overdo it on it. You can't get enough of this stuff in your body. It's only going to lead to amazing things for your life. And I know it sounds over the top sensational, but it really does work. And I'm passionate about you trying it, at least trying it and seeing what it can do for you. And we have people, I mean, we've done programs. I work with Dr. Thomas Lodi, who here in the States, in Arizona, he's got the Tree of Life, not the Tree of, that's Dr. Gabriel Cousins, also on our advisory board. But he's got the Dr. Lodi's, gosh, the name of his facility is skipping my mind right now. An Oasis of Healing. And they're using juices in their protocols. Dr. Gabriel Cousins of the Tree of Life in Arizona is using juicing in his protocols to reverse diabetes. I would check out, if you are diabetic, check out Dr. Gabriel Cousins' book on reversing diabetes naturally, because that's what they're doing out there. Dr. Thomas Lodi is helping people overcome cancer with natural methods, combined with some Western practices too. But mostly he's using juicing and wheatgrass juicing and sprouting and raw foods and things like that. So it's just working, and that's why we're excited to carry that mission on and that message.
Yeah, it's exciting, and I love your passion, absolutely. And I want to clear something up with my next question, because what sometimes happen when we like something and we eat a lot of it is that at some point our body rejects it. So there is a sort of reaction like food poisoning or allergic reaction or stuff like that. Is there any risk that at a certain point we might end up drinking too too much juice and then we feel sick, our body can have that sort of similar reaction?
Oh, great question, Marina. So, yeah, there's a few things we can say to that. First of all, and we talk about it in our book, when it comes to kale and cruciferous vegetables like that, there can be a reaction with the thyroid. So if you have a history of thyroid issues, you can overdo it with the kale and the broccoli and things like that. Although, that said, Dr. Gabriel Cousens says he points to Dr. Norman Walker and the work that he did that said the hypothyroidism and the issues with that, the thyroid and the goitroids and all that. And if you Google this, you'll find more information about it and some controversy about it. It didn't apply to the raw food, though. It didn't apply to the raw kale. And there really haven't been any situations that we can point to. There was one person who was doing green smoothies, felt they overdid it with the kale and had some thyroid issues, some history of thyroid issues. Mm-hmm. So now as a result, everybody's a little nervous. So we put disclaimers like, don't overdo it with the kale, don't overdo it with those kinds of cruciferous vegetables that can trigger some sort of response. It's really, we don't know for sure. So we say use that in moderation. Because since we don't know, especially if you have an issue with thyroids, I do it every day just about, and I don't have any issue at all, but I wouldn't tell anyone else just in case there might be some sort of thyroid issue to just, mix it up more. Use chard today, or use spinach, or use some other green like cilantro, or, and use the kale sometimes, or, just, you don't have to go too heavy on one thing. Moderation is best anyway. The other thing is when we're cleansing too, there can be detox reactions. We can go through healing crises because when we're doing even a 1-day cleanse or a 2 or 3 day cleanse, depending where you are on that journey, if you're wanting to take that dive, you can have some sort, it'll loosen up what's going on in your body. The mucoid, the buildup in our intestines, and it'll release it into our bloodstream. And you could experience things like headaches and flu-like symptoms and things like that. When that happens, there are things that can be done from an enema to a colonic to help get it out. And I've tried it myself. I was once doing a long-term cleanse, and I went through this period of getting a migraine headache, which I don't get anymore. And I used to get a lot of migraine headaches. So that was another result of this lifestyle, but I don't get them anymore. But I did the enema and the headache went away immediately. So whatever it was in my body that was released, that was, I always say, like, just like that nicotine that came out the tips, whatever that was in my body, better out than in, because I don't know what disease I would have had now if that had stayed in my body. And our body is stubborn. It will hold on to things for years in your fat tissues in there. It's just in there. It won't come out no matter what you do. It'll stay attached to your organs. When John Wayne, the actor here in the United States, he was a big actor back in the day, back in the 50s, and Westerns and things. And they found pounds of mucoid plaque, a black mucoid plaque that they pulled out of his intestines from all those hamburgers and steaks and things like that. They're just accumulated. When you have this lifestyle and you're putting the juice in, you're loosening up that stuff. It wants to come out, and it's going to push its way out. And and that practice in and of itself, the cleansing, the juice cleansing. I've done water cleansing and juice cleansing, and I prefer juice cleansing. Water cleansing is a great practice too. And North Central, I think is the name. There's a facility here in the United States where they do water cleansing. It's something that should be under supervision. That leads to extreme detox reactions. But juice, what you're doing is you're giving your body a break. We're always eating. We're snacking, we're eating. We're taught to eat 3 times a day. Finally, your body is rejoicing. You're getting out of the way. They're saying, thank you. Your body says, thank you. You're putting this in, which is, I'm getting more nutrients than ever in that juice. Thank you very much for that. But as a result, as a reward, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to heal those things that are going wrong in your body that I just don't have time for, because all I'm doing all the time is digesting all that stuff you keep piling up, and I never have a chance to breathe until maybe you go to bed at night and I'm doing a little bit of work. We get out of the way. Our body's restoring itself. So during that juice cleanse, it's amazing, and it's cumulative. So if you do a 3-day juice fast this month, and then 3 or 4 months. So if you're doing it 4 times a year or 3 times a year, so 4 months later, you do another 1-day or 3-day, and then you wait 6 months and then you do another, you say, I'm going to do a 10-day. It all builds up. And what I found is my body will tend to pick up where it left off on that last cleanse. It's pretty amazing. And the sooner I go into a cleanse again, the sooner my body starts again, that rejuvenating. How do you know? So you say, Steve, how do you know that? How do you know that your body that it's doing anything? Because I've read articles that say it doesn't do anything. And I've read those same articles on the internet that, it's that juice cleansing doesn't really work and it's a placebo. And there are people out there that talk badly about juicing that never have done it. I always say, try it for yourself and then you'll see. I see things like when I'm on that cleanse, my tongue will extract, there'll be a coating when I wake up in the morning of my tongue. It's a detox. My body is letting go of mucus and I'm scraping my tongue and this stuff's coming out. And I see it, just coming out of my body. So it's phenomenal to see it coming out. It's amazing how lighter we feel. We feel incredible. And that's how we know it works. Not from articles we read that might diss juicing or diss that. And there are even doctors here in the United States that diss it that really just don't know the difference between drinking a processed apple juice in the store and a cold pressed juice from a Green Star juicer and what that really means. What that really means to drink a juice that has been cold pressed and masticated like our teeth did so that the enzymes, nutrients are in place and that we're putting vegetables and fruit through that juicer that are just going to heal our body in miraculous ways. So that's what I say to them. It would be interesting if I ever got in a debate with somebody who just says, it doesn't work. And like one doctor out here said, and he's a well-known doctor. I love his work, and we've actually used some of his videos. I've interviewed him in my own summits, but he's quoted as saying that juicing was the biggest catastrophe of our time or something. And I was just thinking, he's never juiced and he's never tried juice and he doesn't know the difference between a blender and a juicer or whatever. There's just misconceptions about what juicing is. So again, it just comes back to try it for yourself. Don't read, you'll find negative articles about anything in life. Try it for yourself and see what it does for you.
Yes, and absolutely. The empirical method is always the best one, right?
Exactly. That's what I found. I mean, and if not, I'd still be an occupational therapist working with autistic children if I didn't know this work. I'd still be doing that same in-the-box things that really didn't work to help these kids. And I didn't have a voice to share this with them because of the politics. So I said, I can do more showing people the truth. I've always been about getting the truth out there. That's like my biggest thing in life. Like there's so much BS piling up. There's so many fads. They're going to tell you on your Facebook feed, try this green powder. It's the same thing. It's a green juice powder. Mix it in. It's not the same. It's a supplement. You can include some of those organic green powders and whatever. It's never going to be the same as drinking the fresh juice from a juicer that's processed in this way. So just be careful. Like lift the veil up your eyes. There's a lot of blind spots and there's a lot of marketers out there that are going to teach you, that are going to show you things. They got themselves a YouTube channel. They're putting themselves up on a podium, but they're not giving you the truth. They're in their 20s, they're in their 30s. Maybe they lost some weight and they think they know the answer, but they really don't know the long-term solution. And after doing it half my life, closing in on 50 now, working with people who had no idea were eating the standard American diet, whatever country you're in, that's just the junk food diet, and turning their lives around with this. I know it works, and I know the system works. So all I'm saying is start with a juice a day. Make it easy. I'm not saying to change your life and go on a month-long juice cleanse or to go on a water fast, or I'm not saying any of that. I'm saying even the juice a day, you're going to see incredible results, and it's doable. It's something you can fit into your life, especially when I tell you it takes about 10 minutes to clean the juicer. You should rinse off your produce before you juice it, but that's about it. It really, we don't have to overcomplicate things. And as humans, we do that too. We tend to overcomplicate and overthink and think about all the many reasons we shouldn't do something that really has the potential right now. And if you made it this far in the interview, then you know that you're kind of curious, and that last stumbling block you should just overcome. If you're saying, all right, I don't have the money to get a good juicer, you're talking about that Green Star Elite. I know you sell them and you can give me a good deal, but I also know what other way can I do it? Well, you can go on eBay and get a used one, because so many times people will buy these things and put them in the cabinet and never use them and realize the benefits. Or they're sold at those not like flea markets or estate sales. I know you can get a really great deal, or Craigslist or whatever. Just you can get, but what I would recommend is getting a good one, secondhand, but a good one. Don't get the ones that are going to just oxidize and you need to drink it right away. Get a juicer like the Green Star Elite that's going to give you juice that lasts 3 days. You make it in batches, so you have a juicing party is what we like to call it in my house. I'll get my stepson involved and we just have a juicing party. Make it last for 3 days in the refrigerator and we're good to go. Like we just had our juicing party this morning. I've got enough for the next few days. I don't even think about juicing again. Like it's in the refrigerator. I'll wake up in the morning, I'll get my juice and I'm good to go. It's so easy. And here's what you're going to find out when you do my experiment, right? If we do the 21-day challenge, right? If you can do 21 days of a juice a day, what a great way to start the new year. What a great thing to do for your body. When you get to the end of that 21 days, you're not going to want to stop. You're going to find something's missing. I don't have the energy I had. I'm going to rely on caffeine. It got me off caffeine. I was addicted. I was addicted to yerba mates. I thought it was I was addicted to green tea, which is good, but there's a lot of caffeine in it. And it got me off of the caffeine, and what a great thing, you know? So you're gonna miss it if you go off that green juice. You're gonna want it. So just try the 21 days, see how it is when you come off it. It becomes something you need in your life. I'm not perfect. If I miss a day or two, I get back on track, right after that. Or if I miss another day because I'm so busy, but I get right back on track, or I do what I can. If I'm in the natural food store, I'll have them make me a centrifugal juicer. It's not the same of what I would make. I try to get as organic as I can, but if it's not organic at that moment, then that's okay too. But when I'm home, I do try to juice organic. I try to keep the pesticides, fungicides, herbicides out of my juice when we're concentrating on that level. I do recommend you try to go organic. It's not as expensive. You can get good deals on it. Those prices are going down more and more. I like it. I think of it this way. Organic is really conventional. Conventional produce is chemical. I mean, we should call it what it is. So I'm saying stay away from the chemical and have conventional, which they call organic, which is the way your grandparents had their food back then. So let's not play with the marketing, right? Let's have the veil. We've got the blinders on, let's put the goggles on, see through the BS and the truth, and know, yeah, I should be eating organic. That's natural food. That's what we're supposed to be eating. We don't need those chemicals or genetically modified ingredients or GMOs or whatever that manipulates our DNA. We don't need any of that. Let's just put the organic in, feed our body on that level, and then see what we can do. If I slip up in my diet later that day, that's all right. You had that green juice. And with the holidays, people slip up sometimes. But when you have that green juice in, you still feel amazing throughout that day. You're back on track the next day with the green juice. It keeps your weight from going up and down. That's another thing some people in juicing will tell you, and I've heard it in some documentaries, eat what you want. Go to McDonald's and just do a juice fast and cleanse it out. Just do a reboot your body. It's not good. That's the up and down diet roller coaster. That's what really is worse for your body than anything. That can really help. That can lead to heart disease. What we're saying is, if you do it this way, you're going to crave healthier things. You're not going to go up and down with your diet. You're not going to binge and purge and all of that. And it also helps us to escape from all those fad diets that are out there. The next thing, and I've been victim of those myself, like in the 90s and whatever, the paleo diet or whatever it was at the moment, which was the Atkins diet back then, and all those things that didn't work. They helped me to get leaner, but I found my cholesterol went up. I had high blood pressure and I had no energy. You're not going to find any of that with the natural food of the earth, the vegetables and fruit that you're getting in that juice. That's the secret. And it's easy. You've got to be your own person. We call it juice guru, but you are your own guru. You've got to take responsibility. A doctor's not going to do it. Your friends aren't going to do it. Your partner's not going to do it. You've got to do it. This is your body. It's your life. It's our machine. We'll buy a really beautiful car and we'll put the best gasoline in there because we spent all that money, but we're not putting the best fuel in our own body, which is the juice, which is the vegetables and fruit. Treat your body like you would your favorite car, your favorite possession. It is our only possession. It's all we really need. All the rest of the stuff around us in our reality is just kind of there. It's material. This is what we need. When you have the health, it's all you need. You find, wow, you take a step back, you start to want to simplify your life. You start wondering, what is it that I really need? What are the possessions around me? What's all this clutter and what does it mean? We start to cleanse on the inside. It makes us wake up to want to start to cleanse on the outside and simplify and declutter and just live with less. I'm not a minimalist yet, but I can see the benefit of that. I can see the benefit of letting go, and it's all within. Everything we need is within, and the happiness is within. So clear it all out. We have a tendency to accumulate things in our environment and in our body. And when we start to let go, well, you're going to see big changes in your life, things that are amazing. And it's hard to let go. It's hard because we've been holding on to these things for years. And like I said, we're like broken records and we like routine. We like to be robots. We are kind of like robots if you think about it. But when we and what happens is you think of it like a book. I interviewed this guy, Timber Hawkeye. He's got this awesome teaching out, but he was talking about a book and how when we fold the page, we're like that. We open the book and we keep going to that same page because we had creased it. We had folded it. What we're saying is open up the book, get the crease out, and go to new pages of your life, new explorations, new adventures. Stop folding the page over. That's what we have a tendency to do too. This breaks you free of all that, and it lifts the veil on truth. The more we know, the more we wake up to, the more we realize, and the less you're going to be under the control of marketers because they're out there and they're preying on you with all those ads. So this is going to help you wake up to the truth and at least be able to see, to make the right choices. I went off on a tangent, but does that bring us back to the question?
Absolutely. That was fantastic, so powerful, so spot on, so passionate. I love it. And unfortunately, we have to wrap it up. So I need to know two things from you. First of all, your daily practices that you would suggest everyone implementing the routine. I guessed what that might be, but
I know I was thinking, I knew I had to do that, but I couldn't save it for the end, I couldn't.
But that's fantastic. That's awesome. Absolutely. Because it came throughout the conversation. And so, for example, if someone couldn't stay, watch the entire video, at least got that main point, main information. So the juice a day is the fantastic, great tip that I'm going to start trying from tomorrow, definitely. And I will let you know my results.
Oh, I can't wait. So the tip of the day, get yourself the juicer, or if you have one, get it out of the cabinet. And I gave you the tips on how to get one and try that juice. If you can't make one and time's a factor, then you can get one. There's juice bars everywhere now. You can get them in the supermarket even. It's crazy. Just get that juice in your body and see what that's going to do for your body. We never really talked about it, but, and this is really important, I should say this, those juices you see in the store, in the refrigerator, and some of them are labeled cold pressed organic, and you'll even find them in Starbucks, and they're not the same either. They're HPP, which is high pressure processing. They've undergone a method where they're able to stay on the shelves 60 days. It's not the same. And and that's another misleading thing. They'll say cold pressed, so you're gonna think, oh yes, Juice Guru Steve said cold pressed, and this is cold pressed, so and it's not. It's not. It's cold pressed. If you read the back of the label, it'll say high pressure processed, and it was cold pressed first. So they did what I'm recommending first, and then they processed it so it stays on the shelf. I understand why they do it. They've got to stay in business. It's got to be a juice 3 days or less, like I'm saying with the Elite, cold pressed, 3 days or less. Some juice bars make it that way. A lot of the reason I say, okay, but is it okay to have those other ones? And yes, they're okay to have. You're just not going to get the results I'm talking about here. You're not going to get the same energy. You're not going to notice a change much. And I know I've tried it. It's not going to have the medicinal healing that these other juices that you make yourself or that you can get in a juice bar that knows what they're doing, it's not going to be the same. It's better than, so it's like a step up. It's a continuum. It's better than Hawaiian punch in the aisle or apple juice in the aisle that's been concentrated and they've taken everything out. Then they add vitamins back in because it's so denatured and over processed. Like, it's better than that, but it's not the same. So just be aware of that. It's hard because here in California, we have juice bars that were doing it the right way and cold press 3 days or less. And now they're doing HPP and it's the same company. And so I had to be careful. I'm like, oh, wow, they made their way into Whole Foods and all the stores now. And now I can get their juice. And I looked and they're HPP now. And, I feel bad for them because they have to make a living too. So like, I understand why. And if those HPP juices can get people on track to wake up to juicing, and eventually we can get them to this level, then that's a step in the right direction too. But when we're talking about somebody that wants the results I'm talking about today, that they're using in the healing clinics and all that, then it's got to be these juices. And the tip is, if to go full circle, is the juice a day. Try the juice a day practice. Start with a green smoothie a day, using a Dynablend Pro where you can get the oxygen out. At least you're getting that in your body. That's a great way to start. And then work your way up to a juice a day. So don't reinvent the wheel no matter where you are. Start with either a green smoothie or a juice a day in the spot where you're having that heavy breakfast. Wait 20 minutes before you have that first meal of the day. And you're going to find you probably don't want it, and that's great. The less is better. We find through studies now that we're eating too much food. So yes, less food is better. If you start with lunch, then that's even better for your body. We're eating ourselves to death as a culture and a society. I know I said that, but it's true. And it's a sad fact when we realize that we're brought up. It's not your fault. You were brought up to think we need all this food. We're conditioned that way, but it's just not true. So that, Marina, is the tip of the day. The tip of the session is the daily habit. If you can make the daily habit, and get my book if you need brain training techniques, because I would have gone into that, but I think we're running out of time on how we can trick our brain.
I want to save that for another interview because I want you back. I want to interview you another time, so we can save that for another time, definitely.
Okay, yeah, we'll come back. We'll do train your brain for healthy habits.
Absolutely. And then you also have a free gift for us.
Right. So I had teased about it before. And do I give the link or is it going to be below the interview?
It's going to be below the interview, yes.
Okay, so the link for you there is for the daily template recipe, the recipe that got me my book deal, the only juice recipe you need. It's a tape to your fridge poster. It's awesome. I have thousands of people all over the world that just, every time I get interviewed, I mention it, and I get thousands of people on my email list because it's a great thing to have. It's beautifully produced. You print it out, you put it on your refrigerator. A lot of people laminate it. They send me pictures. They've got it laminated up there. And the reason I chose this template recipe is there's a few things. It solves a lot of problems. First of all, the produce that we recommend in the template recipe, the 5 core ingredients, are available year-round, no matter where in the world you live. So it's not exotic ingredients. It's not fruit that's going to go out of season. It's things that you're going to find year-round. So as long as you have these 5 core ingredients, and it's a green juice, and it tastes amazing, and you can interchange. So I give you some suggestions in the template of what you could change out. Try this for that, this for that. And that's why it's a template. So with this one recipe, you become a juice guru. You learn the chemistry of juicing. You learn, okay, the celery and the cucumber and the lemon, they're going to give me that liquidy kind of thing. And then the kale and the spinach or the cilantro, that's good. And the cilantro's going to give me the spice. Or if he's saying ginger, that's going to give a little spice. Or if he's saying try jalapeno pepper for like an awesome kick, then that's going to give it a spice, or even some cayenne pepper mixed in. All the combinations are there. It's the only juice recipe you need. It's on your refrigerator, so before you go to the market, or you took, like what I like to do is take a picture of it with my smartphone, then I've got it on there. But I mean, I already know the recipes and I know, but you'll know too. When you become a guru, a juice guru, which is what you will, you're going to just know. And you're going to know, and it gives you the quantities of how much to put in, but you're going to find on your own what, oh, I like more of this, I'll put more of that in, or, depending on what's in season, like this cucumber is a lot bigger today. And you'll kind of gauge how much liquid you need to put into that juice to make it taste amazing. We never have a bad juice. There's no way to ruin your juice. You can always put in more of the celery and cucumber and lemon to get more liquid to neutralize the taste. Yeah, if you put in like a ton of cayenne pepper, then maybe.
Yeah.
And going full circle too to a warning, which we should rewind to before, beets. You can overdo it with beets. Always start off slow with beets. Beets are great. In studies, they've been shown to help athletes recover faster and they improve endurance. So highly recommend beet juice. Carrots and beets go together nicely, or beets and apples, and that's a great combination. But just put in a quarter of the beet, start with a quarter of it and never more than a half a beet in your juice. And I always hear from people, when they went to the bathroom, it came out red, but you can expect that it's going to make everything red. And it's a great thing to put into your body, but don't overdo it. You're going to have amazing detox reactions, too much of a detox reaction where it can be just too much for you to handle. Too much of a cleanse and your body's just going to empty out and it's going to be very uncomfortable. So just don't overdo it with the beets. Go easy on the beets. I meant to mention that before when we were talking about overdoing things. So I'm glad I was able to get that in. So get your template recipe, print it out, put it on your refrigerator, and become a juice guru and join our juice guru community. We have a free Facebook community where you find that on our website. So just come join the community for daily motivation, inspiration, and we have thousands of people in there all over the world, and you can be part of all that. And I'd love to see you there.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Steve. It was fantastic. I really love your enthusiasm and your passion. Absolutely.
Thank you for having me, Marina. I'm sorry if I went a little too long.
No, that was fantastic because everything was in the flow and you were just in the zone. So it came across beautifully. And I love that. I love spontaneity. So it was not constructed. It was all spontaneous, basically. And everyone will is seeing that. So, and that's exactly what I wanted. And as I said, I would love to interview you again because we have a lot to talk about. And but for now, I thank you so much.
And I thank you. And I thank you for listening. And if anything, for you to change your life and make this change and see what it does for you, to me, that's the greatest gift. So give it a try. Give it a try and just try it for yourself. Thank you, Marina.
No, thank you. And thank you, everyone, for being with Steve and I today at Healthy Under Pressure. Once again, I am Marina Bruni, and I will see you next time. Bye.